Hi, hello, and welcome to a new episode of Release. I'm your host, Adriana, and I am so honored and grateful that you've taken the time to listen to what I have to say. And you have been taking the time for 20 whole episodes. Oh my god, this is so exciting. We are on the last episode of season 2. Thank you so much. I am very honored and grateful that people actually listen to me talk. I am honored and grateful that you guys actually get what I'm saying, because the whole point of this is for me to be able to provide some sort of tools for healing, to be vulnerable, so that raw honesty will help somebody else be honest with themselves, so they can see where they're being too hard on themselves, and they can say this human life is really not that deep. You don't need to inflict pain on yourself by being ashamed or being guilty or hiding. The other day I saw this Pinterest picture quote thingy, and it said, if you're not speaking it, you're keeping it. Is that what it said? It was basically saying that if you're not talking about your emotions, you're keeping it, and it gets really heavy. I did a horrible job at paraphrasing. I do not remember the exact words, but that was the general gist of it. And I'm realizing in season 3, I'm already planning for season 3, and we're not even through this episode of season 2. But for season 3, I really, really, really do want to connect with my vulnerability. I really do want to talk about things that I know that other people are struggling with, but I have my own hills that I'm trying to get over. But it'll be done in its time. Right now we're focusing on this finale episode. Thank you guys for listening. I know I already said that, but thank you so much. I've always wanted to start a podcast, and when I actually did start, I had a lot of nerves, because I knew that having my voice out there, even if I was just talking about flowers, whatever it was, having my voice out there gives people the opportunity to judge my thoughts and opinions. And at first it really scared me, but I realized people are always going to judge. That is what humans do. We compare everything, and that's okay. Just because they judge me doesn't make those things true. Just because somebody has a view of you, that doesn't mean that their view of you is correct. But yeah, thank you. In this episode, I want to talk about self-evolution and why changing as a human is fundamental to being a human. The person that you were at 5 years old, if you are currently that person, unless you're a 5-year-old listening, the person that you were when you were 5 years old is not the same person that you want to be now at whatever age you are, assuming you're not the 5-year-old. But yeah, for me, change has been a topic that has come up a lot, and today I'm not going to only speak on change. When I talk about self-evolution, it's more about leveling up, a transformation. It's about, like I said, fundamental cell level change is a way that you can put it. Because recently this year, I guess we could say, most of this year has been about me yielding. It's been about me listening to myself and listening to the universe and listening to the signs around me, paying attention, being in the moment, really tapping into the conversations I'm having. What am I talking about? Why is this the conversation that is popping up? How is it relevant to what's going on? And really taking the time to be in the moment with what is going on around me and to soak it in. And just that act of yielding has really shifted the way that I look at things. Like this time last year, 2021, maybe not 2021, because we have to think of the COVID years. So let's say me this year and me in 2018. When my parents allowed it, which was once in a blue moon, I would go to parties. I would drink. Not that these things are bad things, but I would be miserable when I went. At first, when I went to the parties, it was the excitement of, okay, I'm in university, I'm in my first year, there's like that rush of something new happening. And in high school, I didn't really go anywhere. My friends weren't really the going out type. And if my mom didn't let me go out when I was in first year university, I don't know why she'd let me go out when I was like 16, but anyway, it was a rush of something new, and I would go, and there was this anxiety because I knew that by midnight my mom would start calling and texting and asking where I am. And if you've ever been to like a house party, especially if it is with Nigerians, with Africans or Caribbean people. Caribbean people are bad, but Africans are bad. Like, they will put on the invite, let's say party starts at 10. Because of my mom, I can't say I'm going to a party that starts at 10 or 11, obviously, so I have to leave a bit earlier, go to my friend's house, whatever, or even like if I knew the people hosting the party, I would go there early. So let's say I'm leaving my house at like 7:30 p.m. Okay. And then nobody's really that party starts at 10. Nobody's getting there until midnight, 1 a.m. And then they're partying until 3 maybe. And then at near midnight, my mom would start calling me. So before the party even really got into swing and people were dancing, whatever, I would be so anxious because I'm checking the time, like, okay, it's already 11, blah, 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 whatever. And the environment of house parties. Now, when people ask me about parties, it literally makes me kind of sick. Because of just, like, I can feel my skin feels gross right now. I'm thinking about it. Okay. First of all, it is dark, it is sweaty, it is hot. I don't like any of those things, especially combined. Darkness is okay. But then there's heat, and then there's men like trying to talk to you, and they're hot and they're sweaty and they're trying to offer you alcohol, and you can't really go to the bathroom because there's people in the bathroom doing things, and it's just, oh my God, it's not the environment. But I would go with my friends, and there would be that anxiety, and I would drink. I don't like alcohol. Anybody that does like to drink, kudos to you. Don't do too much, because alcohol really does fuck with your system. But anyway, as does any drug. But anyway, I used to just drink because it was just like a party thing, whatever. but I didn't like the feeling of being out of control. And I realized that was also the thing about me in parties. I didn't know really what to expect, obviously, but it was just in an environment, such a close environment with so many people that you don't know, men that you don't trust. I'm just gonna say this now. I don't. Men have to prove to me that they are trustworthy. So when at this point that wasn't necessarily the case, I was a lot more trusting, but things have changed and times have changed. So again, change. But at that point, I didn't realize that that's the feeling I was feeling. It was this lookout, as my intuition would be going insane, because those same men that I was like, I don't really like being, I feel unsafe, and everyone's like, they're so nice. I'm like, I don't like being in a room with them. I feel really sticky. They would they definitely turned out to be scumbags. Every single one of them. So I remember when I was in first year, I went to this party. No, it wasn't even a party. It was a quote unquote dorm party by these guys. I'm pretty sure they were in third year. And they're like, oh, bring your friends. So I, my dumbass, let's not say dumb, naive, brought my friends with me. And this is like this summer before first year starts, which meant that we were all, we had just turned 18 that year. And if you're in third year, you're what, like 20? Okay. Fresh 18. Like, my friends born, two of the friends that I had with me at the time are born in June, which means they were freshly 18, like 2 months they've been 18. But anyway, so we went, and at that point I had been turned off from alcohol, so I especially around those men, I just didn't really feel the need to drink. And there was this one guy, and he sort of came over to me and started talking to me, and he was like, oh, do you want to take a walk with me? And now I'm thinking about it, I should have said no, because it was the darkness, and it wasn't even his home, his dorm. So if we got locked out at night, how the fuck? But anyway, doesn't matter. Point is, I said yes, and I went outside and we walked around. I don't remember what we talked about. He gave me his number. It was very strange. I felt really weird about it, but everyone was talking about, oh, he's so nice, he's so this, he's so that, blah blah blah. But that same guy, months later, literally pushed himself on me, and tried to do things with me. And I had a bad feeling about him from the first day I met him. From that first walking incident. And I just was like, okay, it's in my mind. So I think the first thing about self-evolution is this: do not doubt yourself. Don't you ever for a minute think that anybody else knows what's best for you than you. Even if you turn out to be wrong, it's okay, because now you can learn from your mistake. Now you can say, okay, I did this and this was the outcome, therefore I will do another thing this time, and hopefully that outcome is more favorable. Simple things. And I know I just said number one randomly, but I am going to kind of give a list. I feel like I do that in a few episodes, kind of just give a list of steps or things or pointers or whatever you want to call them. A list. I like lists. I like to keep things in order. But yes, don't doubt yourself. And I would say that Number 2 is do not measure yourself against anybody else's judgment of you. Don't hold yourself to anybody else's standard of you. Because recently, in this, like I said before, this year, the change, like the things that have come out of just simply being in the moment and searching out things that were more aligned with me. I started listening to a lot more podcasts. I am very comfortable in my own space. So I really enjoy going on walks by myself. I really enjoy just being in my room and meditating or watching a movie or doing yoga, reading a book, reading my tarot cards, whatever it is. But I like my own time, my own space, my own energy. I can be my crazy self in my own space. It's all great. There's nobody to judge me. But again, we remember that anybody's judgment of yourself is not the reality. That is just their view of you. It doesn't have to be correct. But anyway, back to our point. I have been shifting so much, and I can see the change in myself sometimes. I really do realize that I'm coming home to myself. One thing, a little asterisk that I want to put here is that when we talk, or when I talk about self-evolution, I'm not talking about you changing into a different person. I'm talking about you coming home to yourself. Like I said before, you're not the same person that you were when you were 5, but what were the passions of 5-year-old you? What brought light into you when you were a child? What were the things that you held on to as a child that now you've lost after so many years? When I was a child, I was very, very kind. I was very empathetic. I would cry when I saw somebody else crying. I remember when I feel like I've told this story before, but when I was younger, my mom would give me lunch money, and sometimes she would give me a little extra because she knew that if somebody came to me and said, I don't have any lunch today, she knew that that person would get their food. She knew that it would be, yeah, this person didn't have lunch, and this person didn't have money for a snack, and this person didn't blah, blah, blah. And she understood that that was a part of me. And it's not that I lost those qualities as I started growing up. It's that I was for some time, things, some not great things started happening to me back to back. And it sort of solidified my heart in a sense. I started to see that people may actually have bad intentions. I always try to see the good in people, and I still do try to see the good in people. But now I'm really starting to take people at face value. Whatever you show me, I am not going to go into your brain and figure out what you actually mean. Whatever you show me is what you want me to see. And if you show me or you tell me that you're an asshole, I'm going to believe you. Simply. Before, it would be a whole different thing. But because of that hardening of my heart, I guess, I started to basically curl in on myself, fold in on myself, whatever you want to call it. I was just in my head all the time, and I wasn't being conscious of the needs of the people around me anymore. And I think maybe it was this year that I realized that I needed to get reconnected with my heart, and this podcast is a part of that project of me, because my passion, when I was a kid, my mom asked me, she was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And ever since I was a kid, it was always, I want to be a doctor. And of course, my parents were very excited about that because their child being a doctor, amazing. They, Black parents, I mean, any parent would love their child to be a doctor, but anyway, ethnic parents tend to care a lot more about what job. You know those parents that are like, you have to be a doctor, an engineer, like a lawyer, whatever. Those are the kind of jobs that they, that's the kind of vibe my parents gave. And so they loved that I said I wanted to be a doctor. And my mom asked me, why? And I said, because I want to help people. And for years, I told people I wanted to be a doctor. For years, like literally, my mind didn't change until, it's actually really funny, until I was in high school. I saw that we had to do like a careers class, and it's supposed to get you kind of, in tune with the career world, to kind of choose what you want to pursue after high school. You want to go college, gap year, whatever. And I saw that psychologist was one of the job, like the suggested careers for me. And I looked at it and I was like, that's really interesting. And I kind of like pushed it to the back of my brain. And it was kind of like, you have a little like thumbtack in a thought, but you're like, I don't really know, but I'm not really, like, it's just in the back of your head all the time and you don't know why. Yeah, because I had this fear of killing a person as a doctor. I mean, obviously I would be trained for many, many, many years, and I know that malpractice shouldn't be the first thing that I'm worried about, but that fear really stood out to me because I'm like, if I want this job, I shouldn't be scared of something like that, like a integral part of the actual job. So I went back to my psychology thought, and I realized, I was like, I give people advice all the time, and I feel like I'm good at it, and I like to help people, and around me there's so many people really suffering with their mental health, Black people in particular, and their parents, their community don't acknowledge it. I want to be in a space like that, to be able to say, hey, I look like you. And because realistically, the mental health field is full of white people. And to be able to connect with a little Black child, to say, hey, my mom was exactly like that. Here are some strategies you can use, because sometimes when there's a cultural barrier between a mental health professional and their patient, it can be really hard for them to really give them advice that really does work for their situation. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, psychology it is. And it was sort of like a moment. I think I was home alone, and it was just a moment of, okay, like this is what I think I want to do. And then when I told my parents, they were very much like, why is that the choice? I thought you wanted to be a doctor. And my dad wanted me to be a lawyer because he wanted to be a lawyer, and he never did become a lawyer. So he's trying to live his dream through me. And I was like, I don't really, which was really interesting because I didn't really necessarily speak openly to my parents yet, like really about my feelings. But I was sort of like, I'm not going to go into a job I don't like just because of the money or just because of the status. I don't care if I'm making $5. I believe this will make me happy and this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, cool. they're like, as long as it's not an artist, like, and of course, art is a very viable career, obviously, but parents have very interesting views on quote unquote divergent careers like art careers. They always think that you're not going to be able to make it. But anyway, the point is, I guess me allowing myself to move away from a thought that I'd had for so many years, that people, like, I could have just said, oh, I'm just gonna apply to be in a biology program and then do my master's and then go to med school, whatever that field and that path looks like. I was like, okay, no, that's not for me. But anyway, that was a very large tangent. But back to what I was saying. This year, with all these things that have changed with me, I find that my mom, she'll say things like, you always blah blah blah, and you never change, you blah blah blah. And I see within myself, she doesn't know. Like, it's so frustrating for her to say those things when I've been working on them and I see a change in myself, but she's not able to see it because she's just not looking. And just because she's not looking doesn't mean that it's not there. And I really had to realize that, because a lot of people struggle with their friends or family saying, oh, you've changed. Or even the physical, like, okay, so internal change is always reflected by external change. So when there's a shift on the inside, it will show on the outside for sure. And for me, it was when I started really getting into spirituality. It was sort of like kind of dipping a toe in and then a foot in and then my whole body submerged sort of thing. And then it was like, first I got a journal, and then I got gifted like a crystal, and then I got a tarot deck, and then I started meditating, and then I did this, and then I did that, and blah blah blah, and whatever. And then after that, it became more of like, okay, and now my music taste is starting to shift. Now I'm listening to things that before I wasn't really like the biggest fan of music that felt like noise to me. I really do connect with my music, and I really do believe that if I'm listening to a song, it has to have substance. Because people don't realize, like, your music it's a vibration, it's a frequency. It's connecting with your vibration. It is transmitting things to you. These people are telling you messages. It's up in your ear. You're hearing it. It's very personal. So for me, my music taste, I'm not saying that I only listen to highly spiritual music, but I realize that if I don't connect with a song, I don't necessarily really listen to it. Like, now my music taste is very I listen to like a lot of like Janae Aiko, Frank Ocean, Daniel Caesar, SZA. Like, it's very much I guess like R&B, a lot of alternative artists too, because I feel like it's just the authenticity of the art is what gets me. When I can feel the passion in it, when I can feel the message, when I connect to it. Because a lot of the songs that I call quote unquote noise, they give like it's sort of like very surface level. I can't listen to surface level shit. I'm always around surface level people. I can't do it. The music I'm listening to has to be something that it's sending a message to me. I also started listening to like podcasts, and I started really trying to tap into my art and reading a lot more on growing spiritually and looking for texts that talk about growth, not necessarily to follow them, but just to have the insight, just to say, this is how somebody else has done it, and this is how somebody else has done it. What am I going to do? Am I going to pull from them? Am I not going to pull from them? Am I going to go in search of another thing? Am I going to create my own thing? Whatever it is. I was just trying to find things that I was connected with. Not that reading was a new thing. I've always loved to read, but before it was more fiction because I was looking to escape. And now I guess I'm looking to transcend. That's so funny. I'm looking to elevate my consciousness, so I'm searching out things that help me with that journey, essentially. And with my mom telling me that I haven't changed, it, like, I look around, even with my hair, for people that don't know, never seen a picture of me, I do have locks. I've had them for almost a year. Okay, not almost a year. It's been like 9 months. But even the choice to have locks was a big thing about learning about myself, because that is a commitment in itself. And I was very much a girly. I would have my, okay, let's do something straight. Cool, I'm gonna do some braids. During COVID, I started doing my own hair, so I could just do my hair all the time, no issue. But then choosing to be natural as a girl that has grown up with, my mom used to do my hair with a hairstylist at my disposal. My hair was always done. But having just the locks, because I felt like I was disconnected from myself. I felt like I didn't know how to care for my own hair. I feel like I wasn't nourishing my hair. I feel like black hair is such, I don't even have the word. It's one of those things that really should be honored, and I'm so tired of black women covering up their hair all the time. It's like we're ashamed of our curls. And I wanted, and of course, women can do whatever they want. They can put on whatever hairstyle they want whenever they want. People use their hair to express themselves, of course. But I mean, it's just the fact that a lot of women have been shamed for their hair because, oh, I go into a white space and it's, oh, why don't you straighten your hair? A lot of women, really, black women really, really, really struggle with that connection to not seeing their beauty because of the white spaces they grow up in. But that is a different topic for a different time. But yeah, connecting with my hair and realizing that even if I don't have, a 613 bust down, even if I don't have braids touching the ground, I can look at myself and say, hey, self, you're looking good today. You're looking good today. Yeah. Yeah. Making decisions. When you begin to make decisions without fear, and you begin to do things that you want to do regardless of what you think other people will say. Because for me, I've wanted to get locks for so long, or with my nose piercing. I've wanted to pierce my nose for so long, and I've put it off because I was scared of what my parents would say. Putting off decisions because I'm scared of somebody else's opinion of me. And yeah, parent-child relations are different than friend relations, obviously. But I just mean, obviously, after I'm 18 and I can make, I don't need a parent signature for anything. But I just mean realizing that my choices are valid regardless of what anybody else has to say. Like, people, oh my god, because my hair, you know what, my hair has been growing a lot in the past few months, and my mom was asking me, oh, aren't you gonna do your hair before you go to Jamaica? I was like, I'm going to retwist my hair. That is it. I'm not doing anything else to my hair, really, because this is my hair. This is what it looks like. And people in Jamaica were like, oh, why don't you this is when I went to Jamaica in August. But anyway, they're like, oh, why didn't you do your hair before you came? I was like, excuse me, my hair is done. This is my hair. What do you mean do it? I have locks. They're like, oh, like, you don't know how to just look? Like, I'm so confused. Or people saying, oh, your hair is going to be so pretty when it's long. I'm like, no, my hair is pretty now. It is a journey. That is one thing that I've realized about society, is that people love to think about the end of the journey. We all do it. Every human does it. We think of the end of the journey without thinking about how to get there. And for me, with my locks, I had to start with, okay, this is the beginning. And if I want to get to the stage of long flowing locks, I'm going to have to start with the shorter starter locks. So it's just the idea of, maybe this is our third point. Are we at 3? I think so. Our third point, I guess this kind of links with don't doubt yourself, but trust your decisions. Trust yourself. Know that the desires of your heart, unless they harm you or the people around you, as long as they don't do that, trust them. Because like I said, if one direction brings you to a dead end, you move back, you recollect, you figure out what you're doing, and then you move into another direction. Yeah. Just remember that nobody else is allowed to judge your level of change. Don't allow anybody else to judge you or guilt you into anything. Don't allow anybody to shame you about your past. Situations, relationships are going to change as you change. People are going to not want to be friends with you anymore. Maybe if you had a bunch of let's say I had a bunch of party friends and then I stopped going to parties, they're probably not going to want to be friends with me if they're only my quote unquote party friends. Or if I had drinking friends and I stopped drinking, maybe they wouldn't want to be friends with me anymore because I don't drink. Or let's say that you have a friend and you guys do a specific type of thing together, and then now you no longer do that thing. Now you guys don't really have a shared interest, maybe. A lot of people that do, like, let's say that you smoke not cigarettes, weed. Let's say that you have your smoking group of friends and you stop smoking, but you guys only get together and smoke. There's no relationship outside of that. If you stop, then that friendship is slowly going to wither out unless you guys have a solid base. So you need to remember that as dynamics change, it is okay for you to shift. It's okay for you to stop liking things, to start liking things. It's okay for you to forget about something for a long time and then come back to it, whatever. It's okay. It's your life. You can do whatever you please, whatever you need to do. Remember that there's never a reason for you to judge yourself. There's never a reason for you to doubt yourself and your change or your transformation or whatever you're going through, trust that it is for your best and highest good. Surrender. I feel like every episode I talk about surrendering, but that yielding, that surrendering is what shifted my perspective on things. And I still have trouble with surrendering some things. Sometimes you hold on to things really tightly. When you hold on to things really tightly, the universe is like, hey babe, why are you holding on to that so tightly? We don't want you to have it anymore. And then it will rip you guys apart in order for you to realize that the only thing that you have needed is yourself. For me, that ripping apart taught me that my boundaries are so important. It taught me that my self-worth, what I deserve, I kept hearing people for so many years say, you didn't deserve that. People that hurt me and then turn around and tell me that I didn't deserve it, and they did that thing to me. And for years, I would let that happen. And the universe was like, we are literally showing you that you don't deserve this. We have people literally saying the words to you. I realized that I thought that I was punishing myself for so many years. I did think that I deserved it in some weird way. There's a quote from The Perks of Being a Wallflower. If you like books, you can read the book. I personally have seen the movie many, many, many times, and I love that movie. It is very sad, but in the movie, Emma Watson says, oh, it's not even Emma Watson. Oh my god, what is his name? He is a handsome man. Anyway, he's a handsome man and he's a teacher. And he says, we accept the love we think we deserve. We accept what we think we deserve. If you are accepting bullshit, that means that you think that you deserve that bullshit. You're sending that out into the universe that you deserve it. And you do not. You do not. You deserve the world. Regardless of your view of yourself, you deserve the absolute best. And until you realize that, things that aren't aligned with your best are going to keep causing you grief because you haven't said, hey, I don't deserve this, and I'm going to make the active choice to step away from this situation. Once you start to move away from things that don't deserve you, even if you don't have a next step, a lot of people stay in things that are bad for them for comfort. Even if you have to be alone for a little bit, just watch. When you're alone, the universe will teach you so much about yourself and about what you deserve. And it'll keep teaching you, and you'll keep learning until you know your worth. And as soon as you figure out your worth, you'll see how everything falls into place. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. This one is a little bit of a longer episode, I would say. But thank you all for listening. As usual, I love you guys so much. We are going to be doing some elevation. We're going to be elevating for season 3. I'm so excited for what is to come in this podcast and all the things that I'm going to share with you guys. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in season 3. Bye.